Hello, Hecate devotees, witches, and fellow occultists alike out there. Today's video, I'll be teaching you how to make Hecate oil using my own recipe. First, we will go over the elements and herbs that we will be using and their association correlation with Hecate. Then I will give you a hymn to enchant the oils when you place them in the ground. And lastly, I will be discussing a project I'm working on devoted to Hecate that might be of interest in you, as well as just some exciting news in relation to Hecate. So let's get started. The elements in this oil that we'll be using are snakeskin, cinnamon, grave dirt, yew nettles, frankincense oil, cypress oil, atremisia oil, which is a combination of wormwood and mugwort. And last but not least, the base, almond oil. So let's discuss the correlation of all of these elements in relation to Hecate. Cypress oil. Cypress is connected to death, to the underworld, to crossing of borders. It has healing, blessing, and protection qualities. Frankincense is used to open the pineal gland, which many occultists believe is the seat of magic. It is used during rituals for calming and opening the mind. It has also been used during funeral rites and embalming, specifically the ancient Egyptians. We have Artemisia, which is mugwort and wormwood. That is used for clarity and success with magic. It clears negativity and helps with obstacles. It is also associated with the divine feminine and lunar magic. Cinnamon. This is to incorporate the fire element. It also deals with creativity, inspiration, motivation, and protection of home and hearth. Snakeskin. For rebirth, renewal, the roots of the earth, shedding old ways, protection, transformation, and wisdom. Yew. Yew was used during sacred sacrifices. They would drape this over a black bull in Greece right before they sacrificed it to the gods. Yew is also used for bows and weapons. That's what Apollo used to make his bows and arrows out of. It is also used on funeral pyres in ancient Greece. So this is not just a fire element, a funeral element, but a connection to sacrifice. Grave dirt. This represents Hecate's homestead. This specific grave dirt I'm using is from my mother's grave. She passed away about 30 years ago. But using an element of a family member or an ancestor not just solidifies Hecate's home because it's grave dirt, not just connects you to the spirit whose grave you're using it, but also the power of ancestral roots and origins. So now that we discussed all these elements and their association with Hecate, let's get started on this oil. I am using this bottle here. It's clear so you can see what I'm doing. This is a 6-ounce bottle. We will not be using the full 6 ounces. We will just be making 3 ounces of oil. But I'm using this container so you can see all the elements when I add them in. Okay? So let's start by using the almond oil base. You're going to want to put just about 2 ounces into this base. So that's like almost half of this bottle. That's good. Okay. Leave that like right over here. Then we're going to add the oils in. And I just have this bottle here because sometimes glass bottles are better, especially if they have the little pipette inside of it, because then you could just do a couple drops of oil and it helps if you're transferring one oil to another. So let's start with frankincense. Has the most earthy smell. It is the strongest out of the 3 oil elements, so I would suggest using 10 drops. I know that seems like a lot, but when you're mixing it with the almond oil base, you will get just the slightest hint instead of the very strong smell. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, 10 for frankincense. Okay. Cypress is the next strongly smelling oil. You also want to do 10 for these guys. 10 drops of cypress. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 drops of cypress. Okay. Now you're going to go a little bit stronger with the atremisia because it has a very light floral smell, and you don't want the other 2 to completely overpower it. So 20 drops of the atremisia. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So we got 10 of frankincense, 10 of cypress, 20 of atremisia. Okay, so now that we got the oil elements in there, okay, then we're gonna put the yew nettles. Now you could count them, or let's see, we should do maybe 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so we got the yew nettles in there. Snake skin, just a pinch of it. Now you're wondering, where can I get snake skin? Mine I found out in the desert by looking at holes. I've been really fortunate to find snake skin. You can, if you got a friend that has a snake and their skin is shedding, that's also a good way to ask for it. You can also find them on eBay. A lot of the things here, like I don't have growing around my house, so I had to order that. So we got the snake skin going on in there. You want 2 really good pinches of the cinnamon. Heck, okay, maybe even 3 because it's so light. 3 pinches of cinnamon, 1 pinch of snake skin, 10 nettles of yew. Okay. Now you want like 3 pinches of grave dirt too. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Then we're gonna give it a good shake, shake, shake. All right. Now the basis of the oil is done. I'm gonna put that right there so you can see it. Okay. So now what you would do is wait for the new moon, okay? And you're gonna bury this in the dirt for about 2 weeks. From new moon to full moon is how long this is gonna be in the ground. I would suggest putting a nice bright colored ribbon around the top with a part of the ribbon sticking out, so that way when it's submerged in the dirt, you could still find it sticking out by that colorful ribbon poking. Another thing you can do is, let's say you live in an apartment and you're not going to go dig up the landscape and put this in the ground. So A suggestion is you have a potted plant in your house. You could put this in the potted plant for 2 weeks. It's still in dirt, it's still touching roots, and it's still making that connection with Hecate. Okay. So, now that I've shown you how to make it, I'm going to tell you the hymn that you will be, when you're placing this into the earth to rest for 2 weeks, the hymn that you'll be saying. I will include it to the best of my ability in this video's description. Sometimes my hymns are a little long and they don't fit fully in the description. So here's the hymn that goes with this. Enodia, Chthonia, Propylia, she who travels and protects the places between and the unseen, come to me now as I sow your sacred herbs into the earth, so that you can bless it with your energy and magic. Hecate Enodia, the herb of cypress and mugwort belong to you, queen of the gateways, both liminal and mental. She who holds the keys of the mind, protectress of the border and spaces, guide and guard of when and where. Divine knowledge, divine feminine, crowned by the moon, nail in the threshold, I invoke your energy into this oil. Hecate Enodia. Hecate Chthonia, the herbs of frankincense and almond belong to you. The snake that sheds its skin then makes its home in your roots is honored in this oil. She who teaches us to grow and to overcome, to have patience, protection, understanding. It is your gift, revealing the hidden, honoring tradition, and the roots of wisdom are yours. I invoke your energy into this oil. Hecate Chthonia. Hecate Propylia, the herbs of yew and cinnamon belong to you. Empress of the flame, who burns in passion, sparking the embers of inspiration and ambition. She who lights the funeral pyre, turning the past to ash and lighting the path for the future. Tamer of the hearth, executor of sacrifice, I invoke your energy into this oil, Hecate Propylia. Then when you put this into the earth and cover it with dirt, you would say, by the darkness of the new moon I bury you. Night by night as the moon glows full, so shall your magic grow with this vial, binding you with its herbs. In the sacred names of Hecate, so mote it be. And then after the 2 weeks, from new moon to full moon, you would uncover it and it'd be ready to use. Uses that you can use this oil for: protection of borders in your house. Let's say you want to keep out negative people or negative spirits. You could use this on the doorways and the eaves of your house, on the border of your land, on the seals of your window. You can use this in your bath before you do ritual to enhance your power, connection, and energy with Hecate. You can use this on yourself, behind your ears, on your wrists, on the top of your feet, when you travel for safe protection. There's many other uses that I'm sure I'm not thinking of right now, but those are just to name a few that you can use this oil for. For divine clarity, if you're trying to meditate and get a clear message with spirits. For ancestor work, because we use, like I mentioned before, in this oil we have grave dirt that is specifically connected to family and ancestry. So you can use this on candles and light it with pictures of your family to bring that element of ancestry and roots in. You could use this to connect you with Hecate, just putting it on yourself, like I said, for protection. So there's like a lot of possibilities that you can use this oil for once it's concentrated in the earth for 2 weeks. Yeah, me personally, I've used it. It works really good. Letting it sit in the ground for that 2 weeks does infuse her magic really well into it. So there you go. Hopefully you've been inspired with my recipe and my hymn to create your own Hecate oil. And now you know why each element is in this oil and how to use it. Okay, so the last thing that I wanted to talk to you all about, let me get this out of the way, is this. This is a journal specifically dedicated to Hecate, Catabasis. It has, I'll show you my artwork in there. Yay! A friend of mine is doing this journal, by the way. It's not just me. I'm not self-promoting outside of that, artwork in there. This journal has hymns to Hecate, book review to Hecate, poems to Hecate, pictures to Hecate. So if you're looking for something that is like you're starting off on this path, or even just want some good inspiration ideas, Catabasis. You can find this on Amazon. I think it's about like $12. And this is the first issue that came out. The second one will be released really soon. And the third one has some amazing artists coming up in the journal itself. I also wanted to announce that Catabasis, this journal right here, is looking for submissions. If you're an artist or take amazing photos of your altar to Hecate, if you have poems to Hecate, if you have personal essays, articles to Hecate, if you have recipes, not just cooking, but like this oil recipe I just shared with you today that is dedicated to Hecate, hymns, rituals, anything dedicated to Hecate, please submit to Catabasis Journal. There we go. Catabasisjournal.com. That's where you can send all your submissions to. But in the meantime, you can read this, and it has some very useful and amazing things inside of it. 100% dedicated to Hecate. Yeah, I just wanted to share this project with you, as well as my oil recipe. So Catabasis. There we go. Thank you everyone for watching my video. I hope that this oil comes in handy for you. I hope that you enjoy my hymn. That I will include the recipe and the hymn in the description of this video. I thank you for your time, and I hope that you're all well. May Hecate give you blessings. Good night.